Welcome to Discover East County, where we walk the paths of hardworking folks who share the stories of their lives and businesses. I'm your host, Valley, and I'm here with my friend Ray Neder. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So you own was it RNC?
RNCI.
RNCI, a construction company in East County.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and the company in a whole.
Well, RNCI started from myself in 2009. That was from a trade that I learned from my dad. I worked for him from like '02 to '09, and beyond that a little bit. I started getting my business going, and then I went into my own thing. But it's general construction. We do a lot of remodel, addition, and that's what I was very big into at first. And then I got into a lot of interior moldings, doors, windows, and I actually do construction cleanups around all of San Diego.
Oh, I like that.
Just cleaning up job sites for other contractors.
Yeah.
And so we're a subcontractor as well as a general contractor as well. So we will go develop properties. Our big thing right now is the ADU boom, right? And people are buying these duplexes in front or a unit in front, and then we'll go throw, another unit in back, or we're for family, right? A lot of people are having their housing so expensive in San Diego, right? So what do people do? They move family in. Well, guess what? We'll put a property on, another house on their property. And so that's kind of what we do.
That's
And
interesting. I feel like I have clients that ask me all the time if I know somebody that specializes in that or can help them build an ADU, or we're thinking about an ADU, help guide us. And I'm like, well, I'm just the finance lady. I'm not sure about the construction
Yeah.
part, but it's nice to have somebody so close. And we kind of grew up together. We went to high school together.
Yeah.
And I remember you being kind of active in it before 2002. So you were kind of like you were raised knowing construction, right?
Yeah, it was my grandpa actually was in it, and then my dad went to work for him, and then went out on his own, and then I've always kind of liked nice things, and so my parents weren't willing to always pay for that. So guess what I was doing on the weekends?
Yeah, working.
Working,
Yeah.
right, and it came easy.
I feel like it's important to emphasize that kids, especially East County kids, how important it is to learn a trade. I mean, we have so many programs in East County where it's even free programs that they can take during the summer to learn different trades in different companies that kind of volunteer to show these kids, like take a course on 3 days out of your life on during the summer to learn these skills. You're not going to be a professional in it yet. You're not going to be ready to go to work, but you can find your passion in it. And there's just a ton of jobs there. Tell me about where your home base is, and then kind of how you serve different homeowners and people in East County.
Our office was in Santee up until a couple years ago. Now we're in El Cajon,
Okay.
right by Gillespie Field, and that's my main office. And but we are all over San Diego, from Pine Valley to Chula Vista to, we typically don't go past like Escondido or Oceanside. Um, but as far as that's where we're at. And as far as my homeowners that I serve, uh, it's all word of mouth. It's you build a good name for yourself, and you get passed. Your name gets passed around, and that's how it kind of started for me. As far as being in, I'm not only a general contractor, I'm subcontractor as well too, right? So that's where I started with my dad, and he was a subcontractor, and so people go to different businesses or work for different construction companies, and guess who they know? Oh, I know a framer. I know
Yeah.
a window guy. Well, then you get in, and then your name just starts getting out there.
Yeah.
And as long as you do good work, right? It is construction. It doesn't always come out perfect, but as long as you fix it or whatnot, and stand by your work, you keep getting that call back,
Yeah.
right?
And I think that, you feel like you may have had big shoes to fill from your grandpa to your dad, now you, but keeping that reputation over that many years is a testament to, your work ethic and how you take on each job professionally. It's not just, I want to tell people all the time. They say, well, you get what you pay for. If you want to pay cheaper, you're going to get a cheaper job at the end of the day. And I can't even explain how true that is. knowing myself, having gone
Yeah.
through so many different, construction things at my own home, it's like very important that you do it right. And so I can tell that being in that line of business for that long, you have to be doing things right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Construction's a tough trade, especially with a homeowner. This is their investment, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest purchases they've ever made,
Hmm.
and so to trust somebody to tear it apart and then to put it back together,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of money. They're gonna,
Stressful.
yeah, it's a huge stress,
Hmm.
and especially when you're tearing it apart and they're like, oh, what's happening?
Hmm.
And you just tell them to relax and be calm because
Hmm.
it's going to get better, right? And there's a lot of contractors out there, right, that don't come through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't tell you, I've undersold some jobs, but yeah, guess what? We
Stick to
finish
your
them and
word.
we make sure that homeowner's happy at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
And it's again, you can't, sometimes, a homeowner could be, you know, maybe a little difficult, but you got to remember the stress they're under,
Hmm.
right? Again, the money they're putting into this place, and this is their investment,
Yeah.
and you really understand that,
Yeah.
and to make
Kind of like
sure,
empathy or compassion of like
yeah,
where they're at.
and I've been through it myself. I built my own home, and it's just you got to make sure you are communicative
Hmm.
to them. You're straightforward, honest,
Yeah.
right? Be honest. And it's construction, right? It's things happen that you're not expecting,
Yeah.
especially when we tear up a house. We
Hmm.
don't know what's behind those walls sometimes.
Yep.
So just be straightforward with them. Make sure there's, the surprises that are to the contractor. Make sure you communicate those surprises to them. Um, and yeah, just make sure they're. I don't want to say holding their hand along the way. Make sure they're involved, right?
Yeah.
And there is those
Yeah.
homeowners that will
That's
get.
important.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure they're involved, and there is those homeowners that are maybe a little too involved, but that's all right.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that. I kind of work in the framework of always do right. And that just means to me that even if it doesn't benefit me, at some point you just have to do right by people because it'll come back to you down the road. So, and it makes me feel better knowing that I did the right thing. I want to talk about East County and your contribution back to East County. And so, we got reconnected after high school because of the East County posse. And I wanted to kind of talk about a lot of business owners can just work, do their thing, go home, and that's it. But you found it necessary in your heart to give back to East County. Can you talk about your role with the East County posse? And then I want to know why you decided to join.
so the East County Posse has been around since, she's '02, I think, maybe '98, and it was founded by a friend of mine, Greg Brown. I actually went to my first gala, and it was kind of a party.
Yeah.
Gosh, probably in like '07,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was not a business owner at that time. I was working, and it was a little bit of a party. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I like this. This
Yeah.
everybody's having fun,
Yeah.
right? And it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then life happens. Met my wife, started a family, started a business, and my father-in-law, he knew Greg Brown, and it was right around maybe 2012, 2013. I'd already been in business a couple of years, and my father-in-law had given back to the East County Posse already with helping out with repairs on
Mm.
vehicles. And so Greg Brown says, "Hey, why don't you come be a posse member?"
Mm-hmm.
And so my father-in-law says, "Hey, I have my son-in-law who's
Mm-hmm.
also a construction
Yeah.
owner. Why don't you? Can I bring him along?"
Mm-hmm.
So we went to a luncheon that you've been to, and we introduced ourselves as guests, and we put ourselves on the member list to get voted in. And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, we didn't have 100 members; it was
Mm-hmm.
more like 75. And as you know, there's a 100 member
Cap. Yeah.
cap, right? And so they voted us in, and 2013 you joined the appropriations committee right away, and
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been a part of the posse since 2013, and it wasn't a party,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
There was a lot more that
It
went
was
into
work.
it,
Yeah.
and that party that was raising money
Mm-hmm.
to give back to the East County community,
Right.
where it be as you start to open my eyes when you get on the appropriations committee. You go out and you get these cases, right, where it could be childhood cancer, where it could be elderly with a ramp,
Mm-hmm.
where it could be our recent one, the highwayman, right,
Yeah.
that we pretty much redid, did all his roof and a couple of bathrooms. it's giving back to the East County community in such a awesome way, where it's could be our youth, elderly, even people my age, right? And it's people that need a hand up and not a handout. So we're not there to give a handout to people. Oh, look, he needs a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
What is he doing to earn those pair of shoes?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where we come in, and if there's somebody that really in need,
Yeah.
we're there. It's a huge thing in East County. Again, we're now tapped out at 100 members, and it's a lot of fun. It really makes you passionate, and about first it made you feel good. Now it's I don't call it a job, but it's part of who I am now. So.
And you're president there?
I am president for another 8 months, I think.
Another 8 months.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you feel like your role as a president, what did you intend on when you started? Like you wanted to be in leadership there? And do you feel like you've made an impact in your role so far?
No, no. I mean, as far as I never want to be president. That was something I'm not. That wasn't why I got involved. A guy by the name of Anthony Carnevale got me into helping him when he was appropriations committee, and at the posse, it was something where you would, once you got the appropriations committee, it was a stepping stone. Appropriations committee goes to vice president and the president. And so I actually became the appropriations committee around COVID time, maybe a little bit before. And I kept that role. You're only supposed to keep it for 2 years. I kept it for like 4.
We'll call it
So,
COVID. That's
yeah,
what
it was
call
a COVID thing. But yeah, so, and then you move up, and president is just, it's a stepping stone. My impact for his leadership on the posse, I think it started with a bunch of East County guys, and it was a real posse. Some of those guys are older now and starting to get out of it. And it was, I call it a little bit old school. And we're still old school. We're going to keep as much old school involved as possible because that's what created it. But we're starting to kind of adapt to the times, right? And be more efficient. The communication is getting more out there. And we're growing. Yeah. And so we got to adapt to those times, because there's not just a handful of people can do all the work anymore. Yeah. It's something that we have to grow and bring in a realm of people to help us with all the work.
I do love how people are eager to help. And it's not just, monetary, like not just donating money and time, but there's people in the posse that will donate their service and labor and go help someone for free. But it's like we get out there and we really help a community member, and it's not just self-fulfilling because you feel like you did something good, but it's like you said, it becomes a part of who you are. And it's important. Gosh, East County needed it for so long, and I'm so glad that it's there. And I hope that we can just keep growing and making it just really, really impactful for East County, because I know we both grew up there. We both still work and live there and have fun there, and then give back to the community. It's just like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I love that you grew up here, that you still work here, you employ people here, you serve the community. That's what Discover East County Podcast is about. So thank you so much for your time and sharing.
I really appreciate you having me here.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks all so much for watching Discover East County. We'll see you next time.